hockey. Yeah.
My favorite. It's Judd's Hockey Show.
It is Judd's Hockey Show. Wild might be done, but we're not. We're certainly not done with them. Lots of questions about the offseason, lots of questions about this team going forward. And to address that, of course, Judd, AJ, and Jessi Pierce wearing a Frost shirt to celebrate yet another Walter Cup championship. All they do is win. All they do is hang banners and embarrass the main tenant at the X, whose banners are Mikko Koivu, the fans, and a Northwest Division championship from way back when, which has dust on it.
Oh, that's all right. It takes women in this town to get things done, though. Let's be honest. We've known that for a while. I love that there's only one franchise in PWHL history to have won the Walter Cup now, too, with back-to-back in years 1 and 2. We love it.
I know.
Might as well just set up like a permanent fixture for the Walter Cup. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Although the expansion draft is going to be trying times for all of the good teams. They are going to come down with a hammer on those teams. So lots to get to. But before we do that, I want to remind you that Parlor, which I've been talking about for months now, absolutely outstanding. And if you don't know this, if you're out in the Western Burbs, or heck, if you're not, the new location is in Excelsior, a supper club and a regular Parlor bar. Of course, this is in addition to their location not too far from the X down West 7th Street and also in the North Loop in Minneapolis. I've been telling you about the chicken sandwich for quite some time. It goes without saying that their first line center is the Parlor Burger, which is outstanding craft cocktail menu. So check out the location in Excelsior. All right. Again, I have sent you both some questions that I'm going to reel off here as we go through the closer and closer that we get to the draft, free agency. But right now we've got what? We've got 2 series left, the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. Dallas up 3-1, or down 3-1 to the Oilers in their series. Florida up 3-1 on Carolina. And as you guys watch this, Jessi, we'll start with you. Give me the realistic percentage in your mind as you watch this right now of the Wild being in the Western Conference Finals a year from now. What do you think the percentage is? Can you see a world in which the Wild replaces the Oilers or Stars in these playoffs?
Not yet. And I say not yet because, again, I think there's so many unknowns as we head into next season about the new additions that you're probably going to have, new look. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this point. Well, that starts next year, right? So I think there's maybe a 20% chance, which is higher than I would have given them in many years past, because there is a lot of good built there between Brock Faber, Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, obviously Joel Eriksson and Philip Gustafsson back in net. But I think 20%, there's still just not enough for me to look at it and say, yep, next year this team, and that'll come after July 4, right? I think we'll have a little bit more clarity on that, a little bit more confidence one way or another. But what you're seeing in these finals is the depth of teams too, right? You're seeing Edmonton find their depth. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who I forget is still in the league too, because he seems like he's another guy that's been in there forever. He's contributing. Corey Perry's contributing, right? So yes, you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl doing their thing, but you've got this depth. And as we know, that is key in the playoffs, and the Minnesota Wild have lacked that for the past couple of years. So I'd say 20%, 20 to 25%. It's not zero, so that's good.
No, it's not actually not
bad. Yeah, I think it's favorable, but there's still too many unknowns for me to really put a lot of confidence in being any bigger than that.
Fair. AJ?
I'd say it's like it's not even 10. Maybe 8%, only because it's just so tough. Like it's not like those teams are just going to go away. So,
right.
And the Wild aren't the only team that has their sights on getting to the Western Conference Finals either. The depth that Jessi's kind of talking about, I think, is the biggest thing that the Wild probably need to address. And we don't know what's going to happen this offseason. They're going to make some moves. They're maybe going to make some trades, and it might be a completely different looking Minnesota Wild team. It might be a slightly different looking team. We're not exactly sure quite yet, but we know they're going to be searching, but other teams are too. So, just because the Wild suddenly feel like their window is opening and they have this ambition to get to the Western Conference, and we have the tools and we have all this stuff, doesn't mean they're just going to waltz right in and say thank you very much, thanks for holding the keeping the seat warm for us. Other teams are going to be battling for that too, and so if they seriously want to, you have to look at the formula that these other teams have right now, which is it's depth, it's solid goaltending, but most importantly too, I think coaching probably is like the biggest thing. You look at each team and they have stud guys on the bench who know the game, know how to adapt, know how to connect a room and really motivate their guys to give that extra 10% when they're out there. I'd say about 8. But that I think is still generous. Like if you look at the start of the season for like who's going to win the cup, those types of percentages. If you get 2%, you probably feel like, okay, my team is in a decent spot. There's a belief that if stuff comes together, they can probably win the whole thing. 8% for this is like, you know what? For the other half of the teams in the league that play in the Western Conference, that's probably a pretty good chunk of the overall probability that they get there. So like 20%, I think is like.
Now you're making me rethink my 20%. I don't do numbers well. I thought 20 seemed low and fine and good, but now I'm reconsidering. I'm committed. No, 20's good.
20's good. 8, yeah. Oh boy. So I would say it is at right now as we sit here, counting on moves, not knowing what those moves are. I would say we're at about conference finals 5%. My problem is that they haven't been there in so long, and that there's no like reference point. And Jessi, you're right about the depth. Like you do watch these teams, and the depth is really good. And beyond that, like goaltending. Because we've never seen clearly Gus go past the first round. So like once you get past that, if you get past that, can he stand on his head consistently? There's so many variables. But yet I asked the question because it should be time, right? Like it should be time. Like this is it. There's no more buyout excuses. There's no more, well, we can't spend because of that. So, like, we are entering, I think, a critical mass as far as the future of this franchise and where things are going because of that. It's not there's been a convenient excuse, and Bill Guerin's tried to downplay it. Like I don't want to hear about I'm so tired of the buyouts, but there's been a very convenient, quiet excuse, if not very loud excuse for years now. And that's removed. So there's nothing stopping you. Your prospect pool is deep. You can go out and sign guys. There's nothing stopping you from doing it, which leads to my next question. We'll start with John Hynes, and Age talked about this from a playoff perspective, but what would it take for him to be on the hot seat next season? And I'll follow up with Bill in a separate question, but what would it take? Because I do think that the expectation going into next year shouldn't be as low as AJ and I just said. So, like, Jessi's got a point, too. So, Jessi, what do you think the expectation should be now? Because I feel like a lot of the things that we have fallen back on as people that cover the team or around the team are now removed, and our expectations should increase as well as the teams and certainly the fan base.
Well, and they raised those expectations the beginning of last year when they went off and were top 3, top 5 in the National Hockey League, right? Like that can't be remiss. You did that with the players that you had. What's stopping you from repeating that with new additions and supposedly quote unquote better players or more elite, more skilled guys? There should be no reason that you're not back in that conversation. And I think that's where the bar should be set. John Hynes, I don't know if he does get enough credit for what he's been able to achieve with the team that he has. He came in the middle of the season in November to replace Dean Evson, and he managed to get them on a nice little win streak. He managed to bring that team back up and fight through injuries and do it again last year. So, I mean, he does hit the right button sometimes. Now, there are areas where he's been outcoached and where there are times in the playoffs that maybe he didn't make the right moves. Definitely. But that also makes me think some of that comes from Bill Guerin, right? He's doing what Guerin wants him to do, namely Marco Rossi, maybe being on that fourth line. I don't know that was necessarily dictated by John Hynes. It maybe came from above him, but that's just my side opinion. But no, my bar's up there. I want to see a top 3 team in the division. I want to see a top 3 team in the conference. I don't know why that would be unheard of. I had no expectations for this squad heading into this year, and it's their own fault for raising that bar. And that's what I think. So that being said, too, John Hynes has to make sure his team is ready. And I have confidence that he is. Again, for the most part, I've really enjoyed watching Hynes put this team together and kind of make those in-game moves that we've talked about and those kind of, I know he doesn't like reactionary, but reactionary for all intents and purposes. I like that he isn't afraid to do things. Now I need to see a little bit more aggressiveness. I need to see him be willing to sit guys that aren't performing to that standard, even if they are these top names, even if they are, Gustav Nyquist that you had to go out and get. I don't care. You need to be able to bench players because you're seeing Pete DeBoer do that. You're seeing Bruce Cassidy do that. I mean, elite coaches are going to make those tough decisions and answer those questions when they come about, which they will. So I would like to see a little bit more from Hynes in that, but ultimately I think he should have another good season as long as he keeps bringing the fire that he has thus far.
And those moves are warranted too. That's something else. That's not like on a whim. I mean, Nyquist should have been demoted and or benched out of necessity, not out of, well, we traded for him and we think he'll be fine, which is what they tried to say. So, like, these aren't moves that coaches are making because it's 1994 and they're just a-holes. These are strategic, like, no, I have to do this. I'm sorry. Goodbye. So, yeah, I agree completely. AJ, what do you think the John Hynes hot seat should be, or the expectation at least should be that would keep him in good stead?
I think second round, like appearance in the second round, is probably my floor for the team next year. And to push back on Jessi's point, I don't really care if they are the winners of the division, of the conference, the President's Trophy, or if they just kind of struggle in. I don't really care, because you look at like Florida, obviously a very good team, but they sort of, in a sense, given injuries, limped into their postseason. Now it's just like, all right, now let's just turn it on, and now we see how much of a powerhouse we all knew they were. But if you get into the playoffs, and if you can at least get to the second round, and then I probably need like a competitive series to like justify you losing, because I think we all have the goal of this team is a Western Conference Final / Stanley Cup team. But now, I mean, I need second round. I can't watch them go play 4 to 6 games, lose, and then, hey, now we're done. And it's a month and a half later, and other teams are still playing hockey. I can't stand it. It bothers me so much. John Hynes, I need him to give younger guys more of a leash. That's my biggest thing. If I see you middle of the season and you're demoting a Zeev Buium down to a pairing, or you're taking him out of the lineup for a Zach Bogosian, or you have Dania Yurov and you bury him on the fourth line after he gets a couple shifts, or a night or two on that second, third line as a center. But we just like Freddie Gaudreau's game a little bit more. We got to get him up there. We got to get Freddie up there. No, that's where I start losing. That's where my support starts waning, I would say. In the playoffs, they had some moves they made that I think questionable, but I can understand their reasoning behind it. Their justification is fine. At that time of the year, you got to think about it. In the middle of the season, there's a lot of room for error. Like, you can lose a big slew of games and then come back and just be fine. You got to experiment, I think, a little bit and have some faith in where the future of this team is going. That starts with the younger foundational guys that you have now been drafting / developing / propping up. It's been propaganda, it feels like, between the Wild and like the Athletic and all these other sources talking about, oh, they have such a good farm system, they're going to be great, blah, blah, blah. Well, now it's time to see it. So if you tell me that you've been growing cucumbers in your garden for the past 6 months, and now it's time for dinner and we're going to have a salad, where are the cucumbers? You were talking about these cucumbers for so long. Why are they not in the salad? Oh, they don't taste. No, go get them out of the garden. I want the young guys on the ice. I want the cucumbers in my salad.
I like it.
Well, and for the record, I want them to have a good regular season, because I can't stand the suspense of not knowing for the final week or 2 weeks.
That's
like
fair.
I can't, the
Oh,
chaos.
no, you have to.
It ensues. Yeah. Like, I need them to be like, yep, we're in, we're a lock,
Right.
whatever. Like,
Yep.
my
Right.
God, if I have to do that again, that's a failure to me. Like, I can't have them
Yes.
limp in again. I can't. That's terrible.
Yes,
What a
make the
terrible team.
make the playoffs comfortably, but I don't care. Like, if you never win, if this franchise never wins that stupid
Yeah.
President's Trophy, I'll be happy. It's the most destructive piece of crap ever, because you like sell out to try to have the most points. It's like, what are you doing? The goal is, but yes, if you make the playoffs comfortably, like, because I'm with Jessi there, you cannot go into the last week huffing and puffing and then celebrate like, you beat the Ducks, which saves your season, and it's like again, it's like watching a bantam team. It's like if these were children, it would be awesome because, good for kids and kids celebrate things like that. But these are grown men playing a professional sport. I mean, they should have skated off that ice after that Ducks win with their heads down and been like, thank God, see you later. We're going to the playoffs. But yeah, I need playoff success. But I also need it to look, most importantly to me, not only get past the first round, but get past the first round because you outcoached the guy on the other bench. Like that's the thing. And that's where Hynes, because I'm with Jessi. I think Hynes, given what happened in the regular season, I think he did a lot of good things. And the start that they got off to was really impressive. And he had something to do with that. He gets credit. Like he did a lot of good things. But then the playoffs came and he turned into a guy that was a reflection of his record in the playoffs, which is a really bad thing. I mean, it was Dean-like. So I need to see you outcoach because if you go back to 2003, that was largely coaching. Jacques Lemaire handed Tony Granato, who was a young coach on the Avs bench, his lunch, and then he outcoached Mark Crawford, and so like age is spot on. Coaching in the playoffs matters a lot, and I need to see that. If they go one and done, and it's just like typical, I think you got to take a long look at things. I really do. Like that to me, because that's not. You need to get a coach here. If you are a great coach or a really good coach from October 1st through the end of March, I got no time for you. You're out. I got no time for you. I need to see springtime success. So we'll get to the same question on Bill Guerin, but Jessi, it's gorgeous outside, but it's cold now. It's a little cold now, but it's getting nice. So tell me about where people can go possibly to hone their swing for their golf game as summer approaches.
Swing Lab Performance Center in Lakeville. I absolutely love it. It's not only a place to practice your golf game, which mine is all set and ready for the golf course this summer, but you can also get some professional lessons, advanced club fitting, excellent repairs, and regripping. They even have a summer membership, you guys, for $99 a month that will get you unlimited swings with TrackMan technology and a swing catalyst video analysis. You can replace the driving range, head on out to Swing Lab. My dad hates the driving range, so this is perfect for him. He feels like he's doing a little bit more out there. Again, Swing Lab Performance Golf. And don't forget, bucket of beers, happy hour. You know your girl loves it. That's where you can go get some fun in as well. They've got ladies' night, all the good stuff. Swing Lab Performance Golf in Lakeville. Go check them out.
I don't golf and I'm sold. Speaking of, if you were a golfer, if you were a basketball player, if you were a weekend warrior and now you know what, your knees hurt, your back hurts, you've been placed on the sidelines and you feel like it's hopeless, I'm here to tell you it's not, because of my friends at Neos Elite Performance who can help you out. What is it? It's cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy that's designed to get you going again without invasive procedures. They're going to come to you. You don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need to go to the doctors. What you need to do is let the experts at Neos take care of you and get you back to doing what you love, restoring that function, reducing the pain. And also, if you reference our flagship show, Purple Daily, you're going to get $500 off cellular IV therapy treatment. No surgery, no downtime. As you can see, just results at neoselite.com, neoselite.com. Check them out, and you are going to find out why they are going to get you back in the game and doing what you love. All right, same question applies to, and I feel the answer in some ways is the same, but in some ways the jobs are so different. Same question applies to Bill Guerin. What does Bill Guerin need to show you in the next year? So when we're sitting here next year at this time, obviously being in the Western Conference Finals would sell you. But beyond that, what does he need to show you, Jessi Pierce, for you to say, you know what, he did a very good job, and this was caused, all the problems were caused by the cap hell in which the Wild spent the past 3 years?
He needs to not overspend during free agency. I think that's a huge thing, right? I mean, he's aware of it. He said a lot of people overpay on July 1, which is so true. Need to not have that. And I need to stop with the big burly guys. I need to stop with these gritty, tough, big, old men. I can't do it. If he signs any more of them, I'm just going to lose my bleep. It's just, it's you got to find talent. And he's around talent. You look at USA Hockey, and I know we'll talk about that coming up here, but Four Nations. He's around all of these guys. He sees this talent. He sees the other teams, and yet he refuses to go get players that are successful in the red, white, and blue for him. So I need to see better signings, and then obviously playoff success too. I think his hot seat turns up real quick if this year is an abomination. And again, that means not comfortably sitting in the playoffs, not getting out of the first round. Like, I would turn that heat up real fast. But mostly it starts with his July 1 actions. Don't overpay. Do not blow all of your load on one center that you think is the guy, especially if you think that guy is Brock Nelson, because I will lose it. And just make better signings. And yeah, and stand by what you're going to do with Marco Rossi. Admit what if you're getting rid of Marco Rossi, get the value back for him and stand by that decision.
I think what determines like his hot seat might come sooner than like we might even feel. This offseason is so important. Like Jessi said, first off, whatever you're going to do on July 1, it should be Kirill Kaprizov. That should be locked up within a day or two in my eyes. That needs to get done so then you can make moves based on how much money you do or don't have after that. But then it's, who are you going to sign? What's the term like those types of deals? Because we cannot have, and this is a terrible like comparison, because it's going to be completely different types of signings, but I just can't have another Yakov Trenin where you give him a long-term and then it just doesn't work out. Like, we're sitting here a month into the season, 2 months in the season. Like, why did we sign this guy again? What did Bill see? Like, you have to have an impact signing, but you also don't want to, if the guy ends up being great, I can probably overlook an extra year or an extra like $1 million on the value. But if it's a dud, then you're open to this criticism. Come trade deadline, I need to see that if you feel the team is actually in a good spot, you are ambitious. I understand this past season, you had too many injuries, you had all this cap stuff going on. It was the right choice to not make a move. But if you look at other teams that feel serious about winning the Stanley Cup come the trade deadline, they are willing to give up certain players, certain picks to make that big splash for that final piece of the puzzle that they feel is going to get them over the line. I need to see that type of commitment come trade deadline time. And then, I mean, draft, I don't care about at this point. You don't have a pick in the first round. You don't have a pick in the third round, I want to say. If you do something in the second round, fine. But by all means, that should be even thrown in as like, if you really feel confident that Marco Rossi's not your guy, that is thrown in as a sweetener type of thing for whoever he's going to, so that you can get a better return back. You could draft 5 schlubs for all I care at the draft this year. Like, they're not going to help you in this window that you're currently entering in, because they're just not going to be ready. Anybody that's a 4th rounder, unless it's like a weird once in a lifetime Kirill Kaprizov type of draft pick again, that's just not going to happen. So you need to worry about off-season signings, extending Kirill, and then I need to see a confident Bill Guerin who, like, Gustav Nyquist was an addition that you simply said, okay, we don't need this pick anymore. We don't need this 2026 second rounder. I need whatever you're sending out to be worthwhile in the return. And those are like the 3 main things that I think really hinges on whether his seat gets turned up or turned off. And Jessi's right. After this season, I think it's really fair to say, if it's an abomination, Bill Guerin hot seat is probably fully on, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah. And I do think, look, if they don't go past the first round, it's also like, it's not just a John Hynes conversation. It's a Bill Guerin one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that the gloves are off financially, I am very curious, because Jessi's right. Well, heck, Bill was right. A lot of teams on July 1st make mistakes, but it's incumbent on you to spend and not make a mistake. And by the way, I don't think that's asking for too much. Kaprizov's future does need to be set, in part because if you are in a bidding war for a player, though, that player is going to want to make damn sure that Kirill is coming back for sure. So, like, there are things here, but yeah, I think my leash here for Hynes and Bill Guerin are actually about the same. Like, I don't, which is rare, because ordinarily the GM gets more leash, but in this case, like, it's show me time. You've been talking about this date for a long time. It's now here. You have a team that is certainly functional. I mean, when healthy, they were good. But the result has been, in the playoffs, good or bad, this team has never gotten past the first round in the last 10 years now. So I think the Bill Guerin leash is the same as Hynes. And I think the pressure is enormous, but I think there's also answers now. And yeah, you're not. If you're going to make a signing too, make it a signing. Don't try and get by. I feel part of the problem with the big guys, Jess, is I feel like the big guys have often been from outlet stores too. So like they're outlet guys. So it's like, hey, this guy looks like a prime guy.
Yeah.
Bogosian, right? Like you look at the big defensemen. The big defensemen are great. But it's like Zach Bogosian fits the profile. Okay, but you got him at a discount store.
You're in the $2 bin versus go up to the $5 bin then. Just increase it a smidge.
And now you can go to the $20 bin. Like you could go get a stud. But
like it's AliExpress versus ordering direct from the
yes.
Yeah.
Trennan. Right. Trennan looks the part, but he's not the part, Brazeau looks the part. Just because you're big doesn't mean that you're good. And like I've seen this in sports for a long time. Hey, this pitcher profiles like that pitcher. Let's go get him. So anyway, it's time to put, and you can now, your money where your mouth is. Make the investments, and if you're wrong, you're gone. But I would rather have you be wrong and gone than constantly like searching for the holy grail of we think this guy can look like that guy. So yeah,
and I think how long to prepare for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, sorry to cut you off, Judd,
but
there was he's known about this. He's planned for that. This was part of the plan. So this isn't a surprise. You should be so well prepared heading into this offseason to know what you need to do, right? You never closed the window on the Wild. They were never a rebuild. It's never, we need more time. Okay, we're going to need, nope. You kept a middle level, and now it's show up, put up or show up, or what's that saying go?
Put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up. Yep. Yeah.
I would guess too that we're entering a period now for Bill Guerin where there's zero attachment for him to keep picks or prospects that he feel like if I'm going to get fired, who cares? Like for me, it doesn't affect my job. I want to try to win now. So I think the future is going to see a lot of guys thrown into trades that maybe as fans who have a long time investment is what's going to happen here if this doesn't work out? You're going to be in a really bad spot. But that's just where, Bill Guerin's a smart guy. He knows the past couple of years. He knows his job is safe, but now he's entering a time where, okay, I probably have to start putting up or shutting up. And if I shut up, then I'm probably gone. So this guy who's 3 years away in the farm system for me doesn't really matter if I'm going to be gone in a year and a half. So you're going to see, I think, picks and prospects flying off the shelves to get certain guys here, whether it's within a Marco Rossi trade or trade deadline, if they feel super confident in where they're at.
All right, last question. In this pack, how much stock do you put in the U.S. winning the World Championships for the first time in 92 years? And what is your encouragement, what that means for next February's Olympics?
It's definitely encouraging. I don't necessarily say it's going to translate to the Olympics. I think forever the World Championships have kind of been frowned upon, right? Because not frowned upon, but nobody gets excited for them. Nobody really pays attention.
It's a poor man's tournament.
It is, right? However, in Europe, they treat it so high. Like those European teams, the Swiss and Finland, all those guys, they're not focused on the NHL players. They're focused on their men's league teams and all of that stuff too. So that's exciting. Now this year the bar got raised, obviously, when McKinnon and Crosby decided to go over there, right? And I think that said a lot about the importance that it can be of international play sometimes. I love USA Hockey. I worked there, right? I have an affinity for them. So I love to see them win. I think the interesting thing is it just shows how far USA Hockey has come in general, because the guys that were putting up numbers, Frank Nazar, Logan Cooley, Tage Thompson, they know what it takes to win. They've won at the juniors level. I mean, you're finally starting to see these players that you saw winning U17 championships, U18, Z Bouillon, obviously another guy, right? Like those kids know what it takes. And that's a testament to what USA Hockey has created. Even Jeremy Swayman in net too, right? I mean, I think you're seeing these young, plump, rising USA Hockey stars that you saw at Four Nations. And I think it's definitely a nice feather in the cap to win world championships. But again, once Denmark eliminated Canada, it was kind of like, okay, great. And USA kind of walked all over a lot of the teams throughout the tournament as well. So I'm not going to say it's going to translate to the Olympics, because you're going to have all of these NHL players that are currently fighting for the Stanley Cup on rosters. But I like it. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about it. Like I saw it, I'm like, sure, for sure. Like I'm happy I watched the game, but in like 2 months, I'm going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's not the Olympics. It's not, granted, dare I say, it's not even the Four Nations face-off. Like, it's a fun tournament to watch, but like for the weight that it carries right now, given that a lot of nations' best players are still playing in the playoffs, like even with the 4 teams that are left or just chose not to go to begin with, I don't know, it takes a little bit out for me. Whereas come Olympics time, it's a good stepping stone to, okay, like Jessi said, the USA hockey program looks like it's on a really, really good path. And that sets up really well there. You know how good Canada's going to be, but also some of the other teams over in Europe are probably going to put up a pretty solid fight. Like, it's not going to be a 2-nation thing. I think the stat that they talked about on NHL Network after the final was Team USA in the tournament was the lowest average age team, like they were the youngest team there by average, like 24.2 years. That's like, you're going to have that here for the next decade. Like, there's really good talent stewing in USA hockey, and it comes through the developmental program and all this other stuff. But I mean, I think it means the game is somewhat growing here in the States more than it was, 20 years ago. People are getting more, and you're getting that bigger player pool, and now you're getting higher level talent. So it's really cool to see. It's just not something that I think in a couple months we're gonna be, hey, Jessi, Judd, remember when they won the world champion? Like, it's cool. It's cool for a week. And
how do you go 92 years? That's my only question. How do you go 92 bleeping years without like backing into by accident? I mean, you beat Russia in the 1980 Olympics with 12-year-olds. How do you
remember, guys never wanted to go. Like, it was like Bill Guerin wasn't wrong when he was like, we need people that want to go. But like, guys, because it's after a long NHL season, the last thing you want to go do is play in a tournament like that, right? So I think that's the part you were putting together. Very hodgepodge, ugly looking teams.
Still, I would just think by accident in a 92-year period, you would accidentally win a tournament. I was amazed it was the 1930s. Last thing, Jessi. So the expansion draft in the PWHL, Vancouver comes in, Seattle comes in. They want them to be competitive immediately, which I totally do get. Each existing team can protect 3 players to start with. Who do the Frost protect? The two-time defending champion Frost. Taylor Hynes is one for sure. So who else? Because they got some veterans. They've got some people of renown on that roster. Who are the other 2 protections?
I think you do Lee Steckline as well, back on the blue line. She had an awesome playoff series. Again, she's a little bit on the older side, but I think she's a really good, steadfast defenseman. And I'm really between Grace Zumwinkle and Michaela Cava as far as one of the other ones. I really am. Sorry, Kendall. Michaela Cava scores, and
Kendall's
Grace Zumwinkle, which it feels weird, right? Because she's your captain, she's your leader, yada yada. Yeah. But definitely Hynes, pretty confident on Steckline, and I would say either Cava or Zummy as the other one. It's going to be tough, right? All these teams are going to look so freaking different next year. Yep. I kind of love it. I kind of hate it because that's so aggressive to make Seattle and Vancouver competitive right away.
But you want to. I get that one. Like when the Golden Knights came in, my assumption was they're going to have like a fan base immediately, and if they lose, which they didn't, it's fine. But in a league like this, I actually have no problem with it because you want those teams the night they step on the ice to be really competitive. So
that's who I go with.
What about what is it, Sophie Jakes?
Sophie Jakes, yep, she's 24. Pretty good. Yeah,
because I feel like longevity wise, like better pick than Lee Steckline. Let me ask you this though: is it too much gaming the system to ask like Kendall Coyne Schofield or Cava, like people who are 33, 31, to say, you know what, don't protect me, but let me tell you this, Vancouver, if you select me, I'm retiring. I don't even want to go play there. Like, I'm done with this. I've done enough in my career. I'm just going to hang it up. And then they don't take it. It's like, I got a couple more years in. But why not?
You're Kendall Coyne Schofield, I think you would jump at the chance. Like, that's 2 great markets, and she's not from here. Like if I'm sorry, if I get taken by Seattle or Vancouver, bye Minnesota. Like it's not like you're going to some, prairie city. So I think I'd be excited by it, to be honest with you.
And I think she probably feels a little bit of the fan base isn't still warm to her yet based on last off season, right? I think that's probably, I mean, truthfully, hate to say it, but that's what a woman's going to think. And that's how we're going to feel. So let's get the heck out of Dodge. And
guys feel like that too. So, all right, kids, we are done. Talk to you, Jessi, next week. Enjoy the golf course. Where can folks come find you and buy
Bev card every Tuesday at Loggers Golf Trail.
Look at
Come
that.
say hi.
Look
It
at
was
that.
freezing cold and raining yesterday, but we sold some brews. It was
Look
great.
at you go. All right, we're done. See you later. Judd's Hockey Show.